What's going on, everybody? You know what time it is and you know what we do here. Last night I got a chance to play the new extraction shooter from Caveman Studios, the same developers that made Contractors and Contractors Showdown, and I must say, being somebody who has over 600 hours in Ghost of Tabor and over 1800 hours in Escape from Tarkov, I am impressed and blown away even that this game is still in its early alpha stage of development and has this much polish, quality of life features, and depth to many of its in-game mechanics. This is by far more close to representing Escape from Tarkov than even Ghost of Tabor in many ways, which has me convinced and even worried that Ghost of Tabor is going to be dealing with a real competitor here. And before you say, but Contractors is more of an arcade shooter and Tabor is aiming for realism, I want to say I completely understand why you might think that and why you are 100% wrong. What I find so interesting about how Caveman Studios is developing all three of these games is that all of them are very different from each other, not only just in the game mode, but the actual player mechanics themselves, like jumping, running, throwing, healing, and even the guns feel different between all three titles. Contractors, for example, their first title that features the OG game modes we all know and love from Halo and Call of Duty, feels much more like a true to form Call of Duty in VR, with its sprinting, auto healing, maps, progression, and more. The Battle Royale, on the other hand, features faster movement, streamlined healing mechanics like bandages healing you, and basic gun modifications that also feel quick and easy as you race the closing perimeter to the center of the map. The extraction mode they have here is completely different in so many ways, adding far more options to modify your weapons, much slower movement like sprinting and vaulting with reduced stamina overall, especially when compared to the Battle Royale mode, a seriously complex healing system much like they have in Tarkov, no heads-up display, and much more. A game like this, as early as it is, having less bugs and being more like Tarkov than the supposedly unofficial Escape from Tarkov in VR, Ghost of Tabor, does have me actually considering the far too glorified concept of a Tabor killer. Now, this is of course being said just before Ghost of Tabor's largest content update coming around Christmas wipe, which could very well blow us out of the water with improvements and changes. I still wonder, with how close these titles are competing for a realistic extraction shooter, who will come out on top as the best, because there's not much room in that particular genre to differentiate each other. So I feel like this question does need to be asked. So as you can see, there are some differences, but being that both Ghost of Tabor and Contractors Exfil Zone are both going for realistic survival extraction shooters, they can be more easily compared than other titles that only dip their toes in this space. Starting off with graphics, it's hard to see how VR titles look when you are watching them on YouTube, but now that I've had my hands on both, Contractors Exfil Zone has far better graphics, specifically when you are looking at your body, bunker, guns, and other players or AI models. Both Ghost of Tabor and Contractors have issues with pop-in and other buggy visual effects on their maps, but I blame this on the hardware of VR as a whole, and no one title wins in that aspect for me. So overall, Contractors does get a point for graphics. Secondly, I would like to address PvE and enemy AI. Contractors knocks this one out of the park with its challenging and somewhat less stupid AI than that of Tabor's. The bots in this game can cause deadly bleeds straight away, making the map very difficult for all the naked Timmy gamers out there, and helps with this problem tremendously, eliminating these types of players. The AI have great aim, take cover when being shot at, and will push you when you are taking cover, making the fights far better and more engaging, solving one of Tabor's main problems right now, which is naked runners. So Contractors gets a big point from me here. Third is health system. Currently in Ghost of Tabor, there is light bleeding, heavy bleeding, and loss of HP, with only 2 healing items in the game that deal with all 3 of these issues. In Contractors, there's countless healing items, dealing with anything from broken bones, blacked out limbs, and other body parts that make it so if your stomach is affected, you lose hydration and energy far quicker, which can kill you very quickly, as well as light and heavy bleeds, and also loss of HP from each body part, adding an incredible depth to this system rarely seen in games, and is such a cornerstone of Escape from Tarkov. These afflictions can also make you walk slower or aim worse depending on the body part that is affected, forcing you to use painkillers to temporarily dampen these effects if you need to get back into a fight quickly. In my mind, this is another massive point going straight to Contractors. Fourth thing is maps. Contractors Exfil Zone currently has 3 available maps, ranging from a large flat town to an underground metro system to a cliffside type map with many verticality features to experience. The variety is appreciated, especially when experiencing a new game, but Ghost of Tabor has a better flow and immersion when it comes to this. I think Contractors maps are great in terms of competitiveness and fighting other players, but walking around through through Maka Miest and clearing the beautiful and expansive halls of the museum is hard to beat in an extraction shooter where being enveloped by the game is crucial. The island of Tabor, for example, has great flow with some areas bottlenecking players, which is reminiscent of Escape from Tarkov's most popular map, Customs, and is another thing that makes Island such a great map. So Tabor is getting a point from me on this one. Fifth, I would like to talk about the bunker. Contractors by far has an incredibly in-depth and far better functioning bunker than Tabor. Where do I even start? The traders are on the second floor of the bunker where you can move seamlessly to them or just press a button where you will immediately move to their location without having to climb the stairs. There are almost as many modules, if not more, than Escape from Tarkov, all offering incredible conveniences and buffs to your character like a comfort area, increased storage, crypto mining, shooting range, grow room, and much more I haven't even gone through that I didn't even recognize from Tabor or Tarkov. The aesthetics of it is far more in line with that gritty military feel that Tabor had with its old bunker, but with far better graphics, and feels like a place I could hang out for hours. Contractor gets another big point for me here. Sixth is overall quality of life. In Contractors, you can clip helmets to your backpack. The back of your bag has collisions, so you never have to guess if the item is actually in the bag or not, just falling to the ground like Tabor's does. You can access traders far more easily from your bunker, like I mentioned before. There are scav raids, so you don't have to risk any of your real equipment like they have in Tarkov. There is mag palming like in Tabor, but packing a mag in Contractors is extremely immersive and easy by grabbing a bundle of the caliber and holding it to the mag and pressing the A button, which causes your character to click around into the mag one bullet at a time. Not only is this a cool way to load mags, but just bringing a few of them in and the rest being ammo is a viable way to go into raid, being that it's not a finicky system at all and works extremely well. Players and scavs fall to the ground when being killed with all of their equipment staying on them and the body's not disappearing, so you actually have to go over, move them around, and take the gear off to loot it, which is so refreshing to see. This was all I really noticed with my short time with the game so far, but Contractors gets another point for this one. There's far more to mention here, like trader leveling, missions, and equipment, but I only had 3 hours with the game before making this video, and I would not want to give an inaccurate opinion on any of these things comparing them to each other. But so far, that's 1 point for Ghost of Tabor and 5 points for Contractors Exfil Zone. I've not been keeping an eye on games for long enough to tell you if I think Contractors will kill Tabor, and the extraction shooter subgenre is far too small to know if Tabor is in any real trouble here. But Contractors puts Tabor to shame in so many of these ways, and I really do hope Tabor can get in shape enough for their next big update. Like I said, Tabor having immersive and nicely flowing maps is a big point for me, and will likely keep the game thriving, being that as long as it's a good game, I don't think any other will actually kill it. But I do think that walking the fine line of keeping with their vision and listening closely to the community is going to be crucial moving forward now that the market is looking to become more competitive in this space. I don't know, what do you guys think? Tell me down below what this means for Tabor, if you're excited to play Contractors Exfil Zone. I'm super impressed with it so far being in an early alpha state, and the shape it's going to be in beta and full release is just blowing my mind when I think about it. So thanks for watching up until this point. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and please maybe consider subscribing. It really helps me out being the small channel that I am. You can join the Discord down below if you want to talk to me about these ideas directly. Thanks again and have a very nice day.